Hello guys, welcome to our topic on control of microbial growth. Okay, so today, pag-aaralan natin what are the physical methods or tools that we could use to kill our microorganism, chemical methods, and antimicrobial agents. So guys, when you say physical methods, these are when the time that we're going to use heat, cold, drying, ganyan, chemical methods, we are going to use chemicals, okay? And antimicrobial agents, so we will learn the different antibiotics and also antifungal. So first one, so dapat we know the different terms, okay? So when someone says disinfection, so especially in microbiology, guys, so it is the destruction or removal of vegetative pathogens. So when we say vegetative pathogens, guys, these are bacteria which can still reproduce and grow, okay? Kaya pa nilang magparami. So itong disinfection, it could destroy bacteria who has the capacity to grow and to reproduce, okay? But not bacterial endospores. So when bacteria are in their spore state, okay, they do not reproduce. However, class, they are in a survival mode wherein these spores, guys, could survive extreme temperatures, okay? And extreme pH, lack of moisture, kaya rin nila mag-survive, okay? So, ang key natin, ang maganda sa mga control methods, the best is it could kill endospores, okay? So, if it only could kill vegetative pathogens, that's still okay, okay? But we won't use it in example, in dental extraction because perhaps we could be introducing a spore, ganyan. So, hindi tayo gagamit ng mga disinfectants sa mga tools that are for invasive use, okay? Pang surgery, and so on, okay? Or gagamitin sa tao, okay? But yan usually used on inanimate objects, okay? So when we say disinfectants, are for instruments, surfaces, hindi sa tao, okay? Yung para sa tao, body surfaces is your antisepsis, okay? So your antisepsis are also for vegetative pathogens. We also have sterilization, the complete removal and destruction of microorganisms, including spores and vegetative bacteria, okay? So matindi ang sterilization, it's very good, okay? So used for inanimate objects. So disinfection, sterilization, and decontamination, guys, are used for inanimate objects. Only antisepsis are used for humans, okay? And for decontamination, it is the mechanical removal of most microbes. Yan. Example talaga ng decontamination is filtering, okay? So filtering, usually air, yon, liquids, yan. So hindi yan masyado sa medical use, okay? In experimentation, ganyan pwede. Pero sa medical, hindi pwede kasi nga, that's only, you're not completely removing the microbes depending on the size of the filter. Kung maliit talaga, it could screen out virus, okay? But it's rarely used in the medical field. So here we have physical agents. We could have radiation, moist, dry, yan, based on heat. Yan. So pag sinabing sterilization, yan, complete removal of viable organisms. So they are good in removing really the spores, okay? Boiling water, hot water, and pasteurization are only for disinfection. So balikan nyo na lang to later. UV light is only for disinfecting. It's a non-ionizing radiation. Ionizing radiation, X-ray, cathode, and gamma are for sterilization. They could kill spores. Okay? However, guys, ang paggamit ng ionizing radiation, guys, this is a very big lethal health hazard. Health hazard siya. So when a person is exposed continuously to X-ray, to gamma rays, it could be harmful. Okay? So it should be well regulated. And chemical agents. Gases could serve as sterilization and disinfection. Liquids, yan, merong iba-iba. Okay, so balikan nyo na lang itong tong page na to, okay? But, so disinfection, so it does not remove spores. Sterilization, it could remove spores, even the spores, okay? Antisepsis is for humans and body surfaces of people. Decontamination, mechanical removal of microbes, just like filtration. Okay, so guys, I want to discuss this first. Factors that influence the degree of killing. So guys, you will choose the disinfectant or the sterilization process or the antisepsis process based on these factors, okay? So number 1, type of microorganism. The most resistant daw are prions. So prions are infectious proteins, okay? Protein na to. So prions, guys, it's not common that they cause disease, but usually when they cause disease, they attack the brain. Yan. So yung Jacob, Creutzfeldt encephalopathy. Yan. So, si ma'am nag-invento na lang ng sakit. Totoo yun. Prion disease. Yan. So, caused by a proteins. So, walang DNA to. Protein siya that it could cause disease. So, sabi niya, this is the most resistant to sterilization. So, kung anong pinakamalakas mo na for sterilization, gamitin mo na. Okay? So, yun. So, depending on the type of organism. Example, your COVID-19 virus. Since the virus is covered with lipid, it is susceptible with soap and detergent. So, hugas-hugas lang. Yan, wipe it down. Wipe your surfaces with bleach or kahit yung mga cleaner nyo lang, ordinary cleaning materials mo, de-decontaminate nyo ng area because your SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19, it's easier to kill than prions, okay? Than spores rin, okay? So, class yung mga COVID-19 materials, okay lang hindi sila autoclave, okay? Just run it into a washing machine, okay na siya. Kasi wala namang spores ang COVID-19. So, ayan. So, yan, number of organisms. Of course, the higher the numbers of microbial load or tawag na bioburden, it requires more exposure to the disinfectant or the sterilizing agent. Okay? So, pag mas marami, tagalin mo ng konti yung time of exposure, yung contact. Presence of organic materials. Guys, when a specimen that you want to decontaminate yan, has blood, mucus, or pus, this hinders the active ingredient in the disinfecting material. So you have to remove first the blood, the mucus, and the pus. Yan. So just to let you know, guys, that when these are present, it could inactivate our active ingredients sa disinfecting agent natin. Okay? Concentration of this disinfectant. Guys, you have to follow what the manufacturer said on the concentration of disinfectant, okay? Walang sosobra, hindi kukulang, okay? Eksakto lang. Example, 70% ethanol. It's 70%, okay? Because that's the optimal concentration wherein it could already kill a bacteria, wherein it could denature the protein. Okay na yung 70% ethyl alcohol. Gawin mo 75%, gawin mo 80%, it could still kill the bacteria, yes, but actually you're just wasting the ethanol, okay? So, ayun, na kahit 70% lang, okay na yun. Example rin, like your bleach and your Lysol, what's recommended usually is 10% dilution, but still follow the manufacturer's instruction na kung kailangan ba dilute or hindi. Ayan. So guys, sometimes diluting disinfectants, kung hindi naman sinasabi, is you're just watering it down or you're making it less effective. Okay? Kung kunyari sinabi, 70% alcohol pero dinilute mo ng 50%. Sabi mo. So it's not optimal already to kill the bacteria. Okay, so the concentration is very important. So don't change the concentration. Do not water it down with water or do not make it more concentrated because it will not change. Okay, you're just wasting the disinfectant. Okay, tandaan yan. Nature of surfaces, okay? So you have to know yan, which one will you clean, only by the surface, or you will clean your instruments, because there are appropriate sterilization or disinfectants for specific instruments, okay? So when you're going to buy an instrument, example, dental instrument, you have to read the manual on how to decontaminate it or to sterilize it. What's the best practice, okay? So hindi lahat kasi pwede autoclave, hindi lahat pwede expose sa phenol kasi baka mag-corrode yung metal. So you have to read the medical instruments manual to see how you could sterilize or disinfect it. Okay? So please, okay? So magbasa ng manual. So here you could just see the level of the resistance when it comes to antimicrobial agents like disinfectant, sterilization. So ang madaling patayin nga, envelope virus. So just like your SARS-CoV-2, okay? Next is gram-positive, then non-enveloped, then fungi, then most gram-negative, then protozoa. So protozoa are single-celled parasites. Cease of protozoa hanggang mycobacteria. So mycobacteria do not have a cell wall. Spores are endospores and prions. And so if you're dealing with prions with endospores, dapat if you want to really have them removed, you should sterilize. Yan. Hindi pasok ang disinfectant. Okay, and decontamination. Okay, so what other factors? So contact time. How long will you expose the active ingredient to the surface? Yan. So it could affect it. So kung mabilis lang, hindi pa masyadong gumana yung disinfectant. Temperature. Usually, okay na ang room temperature for the active ingredient to work. Okay? So increasing the temperature could hasten the activity of the active ingredient, pero baka mag-breakdown pag sobrang init naman. So just watch out, okay? So pag cool naman yung temperature, baka mas matagal gumana yung disinfectant, okay? So kunyari, kung medyo malamig yung temperature, if you are in Baguio, perhaps expose the surface in the disinfectant longer. Yan, pH. So ensure the suitable pH, yan, for your instruments, sterilizing agents. So, kasi nga baka masira yung ini-sterilize mo based sa pH, di ba? Biofilms, guys, when there are the presence of biofilms, there's a community of microorganisms, mas mahirap silang patayin, okay? So, you need to increase the contact time further. So, ito lang yung pinili kong image ng biofilm, example on the teeth, okay? So hindi dine-decontaminate or disinfect ang bibig, okay? Anti-sepsis ang ginagamit. Wait lang. Okay, next guys. So when there is biofilm, it's more difficult to kill them. So we could increase the contact time or we could use a higher concentration of disinfectant, okay? Compatibility of disinfectants. I know that we could have a saying that 2 is better than 1, okay? But it's not recommended to be mixing disinfectants with another disinfectant, okay? So we should always follow the manufacturer's instructions, okay? So wag paghaluin, isa-isang disinfectant at a time lang, okay? So first is physical methods. So first is when we use heat. So first one is moist heat. So this type of heat, we will also expose but we are heating with water. Okay, example, ito nga, boiling. Yan. So in boiling, guys, so this is, yan, this is in boiling, so we heat it as high as 100 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 minutes, okay? It will only kill the vegetative cell but not the spores, okay? So just take note of boiling, okay? So yung mga gamit-gamit nyo sa bahay, class example, for me, may contact lens container, ayan, I boil it. What else, guys? We have fractional sterilization. So when we say fractional sterilization, so this type of sterilization, this one, happens in intervals. So one of the disadvantage of this one is it could take a very long time to do fractional sterilization. Example, tendalization. We steam it. So we use moist heat, okay? For 30 minutes for 3 consecutive days, okay? So on the third day, yan, we could already kill the spores, okay? So for the first day, it could only kill, yan, steaming it for 30 minutes, it could only kill the vegetative cell, okay? The second day, it could already kill the spores and the vegetative cell, but not all, okay? So complete destruction of the spores happen on the third day, okay? So for tendalization, we do it for 3 consecutive days. For inspisation, guys, so inspisation is specifically used for culture media. So in this image, guys, this is an equipment for sterilizing, guys, your culture media for Mycobacterium tuberculosis, bacteria that causes TB, okay? So that it will not, the culture media where your TB could grow will not be contaminated with any other mycobacterium. Ang mag-grow lang dapat doon, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, kailangan it would be subjected to inspisation. So this is equipment for that. So it is subjected at 75 to 80 degrees for 2 hours for 3 days. And so matindi. Alam nyo guys, hindi common ang pagkukulture ng Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So we already have molecular tests for that. However, yan, if for experimentation, yan, or research, yan, mag-inspisation. Or if there's a really need to culture it, to grow the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, here, moist heat class, under it are your autoclaves. Yan. So autoclaves is you steam it under pressure. So parang you're placing it mukhang pressure cooker, okay? So basically, iba't iba lang yung form nila, but in all, class, ang principle niyan is you subject it in a high heat, which is 121 degrees Celsius, add pressure, which is 15 Pascal square inches, for 15 to 30 minutes. Yan. So what's good? Yan, you could autoclave medical equipments, yan, culture media, autoclave rin namin yon, ganyan. So, however, you have to read your instruments manual, okay? So hindi lahat ino-autoclave, baka sumabog sila sa high pressure, mas lalo na yung mga flint glass, yung malinipis na glass, okay? But if the glasses are Pyrex, yan, the glassware are Pyrex, high quality glasses, type of glass, you could autoclave them. However, like yung mga flint glasses, type of glass, hindi pwedeng i-autoclave. Magbe-break sa loob ng autoclave. And we also have pasteurization, okay? So usually it's done with milk, with liquids, with beer, wherein it is heated. The liquid is heated, then it is cooled. Yan. So 60 degrees for 30 minutes followed by a rapid cooling. So it's heat below boiling point for 30 minutes, 62 degrees Celsius. Then it is cold. It is cold. It is cooled immediately. Yan. For pasteurization. Next is dry heat. So there's no moisture involved. No more steaming. Yan. So hot air oven, so 160 mas mataas naman. 160 to 180 for 1 to 2 hours. Okay? Depend on how big the object is. Yan. So if it's bigger, yan, you could increase the contact time. Nga yung pinag-uusapan natin, di ba? There is also direct flame. Yan. So if you're just heating small instruments, yan, mas lalo na talaga inoculating loop and needles, you could just heat it over direct flame. Yan. And incineration, yan, at 870 to 890 degrees Celsius. So back then, guys, in the Philippines, we incinerate, we burn up the needles, the medical waste, sinusunog lahat yan. However, it really causes pollution, okay? Hindi na siya, wala ng incineration ngayon because of the Clean Air Act. So unless they could really manage the air the output of air, yung talagang pinagsunugan, kung kaya nilang i-manage yun, then pasok sa Clean Air Act yun. Pero kung yun, if there's a big smoke that's coming out, it's illegal here in the Philippines. We also have desiccation. Yan. So this is a physical method wherein it's a way of removing the moisture, exposing the microorganisms to extreme dryness. Okay, so this is a desiccator. Yan. So it's made up of really thick glass. So even in the glass, your oxygen, your moisture could not come in. And actually, they are also recommending that when you cover your lid, you will even add petroleum jelly or Vaseline. Talagang malak. Talagang walang papasok na moisture. Okay? So, microorganisms cannot grow and divide when there is extreme dryness, but can survive for a certain periods of time depending on their features. So, ayun, nilak na nga with Vaseline, tapos may desiccant pa sa ilalim, like silica gel. On some, I'm seeing salt as their desiccant. After the addition of water, however, some bacteria could start growing again. Yan. So example, ito, Deinococcus, radiodurans, and Mycobacterium. So they could stop reproducing and growing in a desiccator. However, guys, pag nilagyan mo na naman ng moisture, they could be alive again. They could return to life and grow and reproduce. So, itong batch out lang tong Mycobacterium. Talagang matindi itong Mycobacterium. And, however, itong Neisseria gonorrhoeae, guys. So, even though in a short period of time of dryness, yan, it could really die. Okay? Unlike your Mycobacterium and Deinococcus. So, here, this is freeze drying or lyophilization. So, here, this is a type of dehydration process in preserving your different materials. Example, guys, ang matindi is your vaccines and injectable. That's why, guys, if you heard the news about our COVID-19 vaccines, their storage temperatures should be very low, okay? About -70 degrees Celsius. Yan. Because, yan, to make them less perishable para hindi sila mabulok agad, madali silang matransport. Yan. So, because of that, it inhibits the action of microorganisms and enzymes that would normally spoil and degrade a substance. So, by removing the water from the material and sealing the material, so we lyophilize it or freeze dry it by removing completely all the water. Okay? And however, if it's ready to use, we could reconstitute, i-dilute mo. Example, ito nga ang COVID-19 virus natin, specifically Pfizer, isa sa challenge dyan kasi its transport is cold chain. So from the manufacturing to the transport, yan, and before it should be injected in the patient's body, it should be at a very cold temperature at -70 degrees Celsius. So here, it's still in powdered form, okay? In the lyophilized form, dried pa, okay? Para walang bacterial contamination. And so before it will be injected, guys, they will add a sodium chloride diluent yan para ma-reconstitute, para ready for vaccination. Yan. So, pag nag-reconstitute, guys, I think 6 hours lang yung validity nung na-reconstitute na vaccine. So, kailangan i-use up siya. Okay. So, osmotic pressure. So, osmotic pressure, guys, is the movement of water. Yan. So, you expose your meat or your fruits and vegetables in a very hypertonic solution. Yan. So, pag in-expose mo sila sa isang very hypertonic solution, the moisture will come out of the cell. Okay? And hypertonic solutions are used for antimicrobial control. Okay, so ayun. So you place them in a hypertonic solution to draw out the water para lumabas yung tubig sa meat natin, sa fruits and vegetables. So this is not used in medical use. Yan. Okay, we have this term plasmolysis. So related sa osmotic pressure. Here, this is filtration. So this is an act of decontamination, di ba? So we filter your microbes, yan, depending on the size. So usual size ng filter, yung pore in microfiltration, guys, is 0.2 micrometer to 0.45 micrometer. Dapat ganyan kaliliit yung mga pores, okay? So, hindi basta-basta strainer to. Kailangan mo bumili ng filter paper. At dapat naka-designate, naka-assign, or naka-indicate yung micrometers ng pores, okay? So, virus, you should use a nanofilter with a pore size of 20 to 50 nanometer. Yan. So, filtration is used for heat labile pharmaceuticals, okay? So, if you cannot heat the drug, yan, you could filter it, okay? And protein solutions and treatment of drinking water. So, pag treatment of drinking water, yan, so fancy na yun pag gumamit ng nano filter. Yan. Here, yan, in this image, you could place a millipore. Here, this is a nitrocellulose filter paper or Wattman paper. For radiation, guys, we have two types of radiation, non-ionizing and ionizing. So, non-ionizing is not so bad for our health. Okay? Pag sa UV light, hindi naman tayo masyadong affected, but increased exposure could affect your cornea, your skin, yan, kaya na pumatay ng plant. Yun, kasi may ultraviolet light kami, so namatay yung plant na exposed doon. However, it will not cause cancer. Ganyan. So, yan, UV light is to sterilize. It sterilizes the interiors of a biological safety cabinet. So, this is a biological safety cabinet, guys. You could turn on a switch at magbubukas yung ultraviolet light, okay? The drawback of UV is that it damages some plastics or foam. Yan. If it's prolonged time, okay? Pero kung stainless steel, metal, glass, for sterilization, okay lang, okay? But guys, I think I used the wrong word. Disinfect lang to, okay? It could not kill the spores, okay? Please, correct kita, okay? It could not kill the spores. It's only for decontamination, okay? It will stop DNA replication. Yan. So, this is an example of a biologic safety cabinet na naka-on yung ultraviolet light. Okay, for ionizing, so it's a health hazard. So, hindi basta-basta gumagamit ng gamma rays and X-rays. Yan. So, X-rays are used for irradiating large packages and pallet loads of medical device. Yan, this one. So, hindi totoo tong green light na to. So, pang ano lang yan. Just to let you know that they are doing X-ray. Okay? So, it breaks down the hydrogen bonds on your DNA. And spores are resistant due to its low water content. Okay? Okay. So, X-rays actually, okay, spores are resistant. Okay, gamma rays, yan, for sterilization of disposable medical equipment. So, before throwing it, yan, sterilize muna bago idalhin sa landfill. Mas maganda sana sterilize lang. But gamma rays is not commonly used in the Philippines, okay? But I saw an article in 2015. They're trying to use gamma rays for sterilization. So, hindi pa masyadong common kasi nga, it's bad for the body. Okay, so class 2 UV is for disinfection. Yeah, and for ionizing, it's for sterilization. Yan. So, next guys, chemical methods. So, antiseptics, yan. So, used for the surfaces of the body, disinfectants for inanimate objects, bacteriostatic So it prevents, it stops the growth of bacteria, but it does not kill it completely, okay? It should be a bactericide that completely kills your bacteria. So just take note, ha? Yung bactericide and bacteriostatic. Yan. So static, it just slows down the growth. So there are, guys, chemical methods that its focus it disrupts the cell membrane, okay? So if the cell membrane has lipids, yan, kaya niyang patayin. Example, alcohol, yan. So alcohol is used specifically dapat for antiseptic, okay? So ginagamit siya ng as a disinfectant minsan, pero the best siya na sa skin lang. Okay? So, sayang yung alcohol for cleaning surfaces. So, pwedeng chlorine or yung bleach for cleaning surfaces. Pero, yun nga, ginagamit na rin ng alcohol. So, in the nature's protein, okay? So, at 70%, yung nga, that's why I mentioned a while ago, that it is the optimal concentration for your ethanol, your isopropyl alcohol. Yeah. So it requires water for denaturation. So 100% isopropyl alcohol could not kill a bacteria. Okay, it needs water. Here we have detergents and soaps. Okay, so it could disrupt the lipid cell membrane. Okay, so example, another solution that could disrupt the cell membrane are your quats, yan, or quaternary ammonium. It cannot kill spores and TB. Pati si alcohol, it could not kill the spores and TB. We also have phenol. Yan. So, it's the original disinfectant of Joseph Lister. Yan. For medical instruments. So, guys, here, yun, carbolic acid plus cresol is equal Lysol. So, the optimal concentration of Lysol is 10%. So, if you have Lysol, so get 1 cup of Lysol and 9 parts of water, 9 cups of water. So kunyari, basta may 1 part ka ng Lysol, cup man yan, gallon man yan, add 9 gallons of water or 9 cups of water. 1:9. Okay, that's the optimal temperature. Okay, ay the concentration. Okay na yung 10%. Okay. So next, guys, modification of protein. So kanina cell membrane, ngayon naman protein. So your sodium hypochlorite, your bleach, guys, 10% rin siya. So halogen sila. So chlorine, ito iodine. So it's a common antiseptic. Yan. So yung betadine natin, guys. So place it at least 60%, 60-second contact. So kung mag-clean kayo ng wound, guys, okay na ang iodine. Okay, wag alcohol, masakit yun. We have heavy metals. So first we have mercury. So mertiolate was back then used as a disinfectant. We also have silver nitrate, or silver nitrate or silver. So this silver nitrate, 1% silver nitrate is used to protect the baby from neonatal conjunctivitis or ophthalmia neonatorium. Ito, guys. So guys, unfortunately, if the mom has gonorrhea, yung caused by Neisseria gonorrhoeae, guys, the bacteria could go to the eyes of the baby. And so to clean up the eyes of the baby, you could drop 1% silver nitrate on the eyes of the baby. Okay. We also have hydrogen peroxide for cleaning wounds, contact lenses pala, and oxidizes microbes. Formaldehyde vapor. So formaldehyde vapor is for disinfecting. However, there is also in liquid form. Okay. So this one could cause cancer. And glutaraldehyde, 10 times more effective than formaldehyde and less toxic. Use for medical instrument like bronchoscope and respiratory therapy equipment. So just like yung inhaler, ganyan tubings, yan. You could expose it to your glutaraldehyde. We have ethylene oxide for sterilization of heat-sensitive equipments. So it's really good, most effective cold sterilization in removing spores. Most effective, ethylene oxide. and acid and alkali. Yan. So acids, so weak acids are used as food preservatives. Okay, we have antimicrobial agents now. So guys, they are grouped based on what they are attacking on the bacteria. So for this group, guys, itong mga beta-lactams, penicillin, cephalosporins, ampicillin, amoxicillin, bacitracin, what they attack is the cell wall synthesis. They prevent the assembly or the building of the cell wall, specifically the peptidoglycan. Yan. Alin bang may mga peptidoglycan? Usually mga gram-positive, okay? So they attack gram-positive, mas lalo na itong beta-lactams, just like penicillin and cephalosporin. But guys, meron na tayong mga mas better na antibiotic like amoxicillin. However, yun nga, parang na-overuse na itong amoxicillin na it's good for both gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. So guys, they kill the synthesis of the cell wall, okay? Here, ito namang mga types of antibiotics na to, what they inhibit is the translation part of protein synthesis. So guys, if a bacteria has DNA, and so that your DNA would turn into proteins, kailangan niyang a portion of it must be copied into becoming a messenger RNA, okay? So for that the RNA could become protein, it should be translated. So itong translation is the portion which is inhibited by the following antibiotics, okay? Itong mga gentamicin, tobramycin, kanamycin under the aminoglycosides. We also have tetracycline, chloramphenicol, and erythromycin. Yan. Alam niyo ba guys, when I was a teenager, my mom said that I should get an eskinol, tapos add erythromycin in the eskinol, then use it as a astringent. Yan. So, ayun. So, tetracycline, guys, one of its side effect, or yan, because it could inhibit the growth of kids, bone growth of kids. And chloramphenicol could cause aplastic anemia. So, here, guys, it could injure the cell membrane, especially the sterols of the cell membrane. So, amphotericin B and nystatin are good for fungi. Yan, antifungal. Itong nystatin for candida. Guys, this candida could cause yeast infection. Yan, in the mouth, in the vagina, reproductive system. Mas lalo na if you have really weak immune system, like if you have AIDS already, talagang wala na rin yung mga normal flora na bacteria, kaya nagpro-proliferate na yung mga fungi. Yan. So the fungi is now in the mouth. Yan. Yan. So, yan, nystatin, okay, sa candida. So, yan, we also have toricidin, polymyxin B. So, polymyxin B is good for multi-resistant bacteria. Yan, ginagamitan na ng polymyxin B. And so on. So, guys, that's it. Ay, hindi pa. Meron last, inhibition of nucleic acid synthesis. Yan. So, malakas itong mga drug na to, rifampin, for Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Nucleic acid synthesis naman. So, para hindi makagawa ng DNA. Okay? So, that's it, guys. Thank you for being with me. Mag-ice cream na tayo. Bye-bye.